Do you sometimes feel that there are people trying to manipulate you? Have you ever wondered about their reasons and goals? What are their motives for doing so? Could manipulation of us pose a threat to our freedoms and independent thinking? What tools and strategies do others use to achieve their goals at our expense? What are their ways to influence and manipulate us? Our thoughts and behavior? Are we able to detect manipulation by others? Or learn to recognize manipulation and protect ourselves from it? Or are we easy victims of their hidden agendas, which may affect our lives directly and unnoticed, on the other hand? Do you have the ability to read individuals' personalities and discover their tendencies through their behavior? Can you identify nonverbal cues such as emotion and tension in a person's voice? Can you analyze the feelings expressed while speaking? Can you infer hidden meanings from hand movements and facial expressions? You may wonder how these questions relate to previous questions about manipulation. The answer is simple. These abilities help you detect manipulators and understand their intentions and goals. Developing our abilities to analyze others and understand their motives can help us recognize manipulation and protect ourselves from it. Understanding interaction style and nonverbal cues can give us more informed insight into social interactions and help us make more informed and influential decisions in our lives. Listen and join us on this exciting journey into how others manipulate us and how we can deal with them more effectively. In today's summary of the wonderful book, How Do You Read People? By Daniel Spade, published in 2013. The book in which the author presents 13 laws or rules to enhance your understanding of manipulation and provides serious advice that helps you read body language and deal with manipulators effectively. Once you spot all the signs of manipulation, you will be able to evaluate the relationships in your life and make informed decisions about them. This knowledge will enable you to exercise your rights to be treated with dignity and to be treated with respect, whether it is your partner, your friend, or anyone you come into contact with. You will also be able to avoid being exploited or manipulated unintentionally if you can read people's body language and recognize manipulative data. You will become less likely to be influenced by the intentions of others, intentionally or unintentionally on their part, and you will be more prepared to take advantage of the opportunities available around you, so do not miss this opportunity. Exciting to discover the full potential in you and enhance your skills in reading and understanding others. Laws of Manipulation 13. Every moment you are awake in your life, some kind of mental control or manipulation is always happening to you, and often you are not even aware of it. This is done through the internet, social media, traditional media, advertisements, and even from your coworkers and friends. Manipulative personalities come in different forms, and regardless of the individual diversity of these people, they share one trait: intelligence, cunning, and deceit. If their ultimate goal is to get what they want, they will resort to any means possible without caring about your feelings, anyone else's feelings, or even their own feelings. They are only focused on achieving the result they seek. Although every manipulator's techniques are different, there are 13 rules or laws of manipulation that all manipulators use at some point. This does not mean that the manipulator practices all of these laws together. He may practice one or some of them according to the need or situation, and some people may practice them without being aware of them. The first law is lying and concealing true intentions, which is a basic rule in the world of manipulation, and it is considered perhaps the oldest and most powerful type of manipulation when people deal with skilled manipulators. It is very difficult to detect that they are lying until it is too late. Sometimes they may use deception for various purposes, such as taking advantage of you or keeping their true intentions hidden so you don't know what they are up to, or even to maintain a level, so that they are always one step ahead of you. Some manipulators may lie, even when there is no reason to do so, because they enjoy making a mess or messing with other people's emotions. The second law is to seek attention. Manipulators feel comfortable being the center of attention from others, and they use this to boost their self-confidence and assert their personalities in the context of a marital relationship. For example, one spouse may constantly raise conflicts in order to attract the attention of the other partner. He may try to solve problems that do not even exist. The third rule is based on an emotional behavioral pattern. Manipulators here are very emotional people, as they tend to get overly emotional or even hysterical when they do not get what they want. Drama, companionship, and exaggeration are common traits in this context. They usually resort to this emotional behavior at the slightest provocation, which is often inappropriate behavior in the context in which the matter occurs. The whole reaction is inconsistent with the situation. The fourth law is playing the victim, which is one of the psychological strategies that some use to attract attention and sympathy from others. People who play the victim role highlight their difficulties and problems in a way that makes their condition appear worse compared to others. Manipulators use this emotionally exhausting strategy by focusing on their problems and emphasizing how bad their situation is to elicit pity. To win people's sympathy, attract their attention, and even to escape their responsibility. The fifth law is taking undeserved praise. The manipulator will try to convince you to perform many tasks or a large amount of work, only to appear at the last minute to demand praise for those efforts, or he will try, through cunning and deception, to extract appreciation for the work that someone else has done to achieve his personal goals, or to enhance his reputation without actually making any efforts. The sixth law is to make you feel dependent on them. The manipulators here work to make you feel dependent on them, believing that you need their services on an ongoing basis and that you cannot do without them. Thus, they instill in you a sense of obligation towards them so that they can benefit from that later. The more you depend on them, the more power and control they will have over you, and that is what they seek. The seventh law is selective honesty. Manipulators seek to gain an advantage by hiding crucial facts. At the same time, they try to convince everyone that they are providing accurate information about what is happening and make you feel that they are helping you by informing you about the goals. But in reality, they ensure that you are always at least 2 steps behind them by presenting only part of the truth. Law 8. Pretending to be friendly. Here the manipulator pretends to be very friendly and makes you feel like a close person in order to obtain information. This tamper can be used later. Some people are naturally friendly, even if they have no intentions or purpose behind it, but someone acts too friendly and shows excessive interest, especially if he asks you very personal questions or probing inquiries. Even though you have only known him for a short time, this strategy is common in the workplace, and if your instinct tells you something is not right, it may arouse suspicion. These doubts are often justified. The 9th law is non-commitment. Manipulators here do not want to commit. They like to avoid giving their approval or support unless it means they get the upper hand and manipulate circumstances to advance their interests. They will be especially reluctant to commit to anything that requires them to do so. Bearing responsibilities, such as lack of commitment from a partner in marital life, for example, leads to tension in the other person and makes him feel like he is. It needs more. The 10th law is to pretend to be stupid. Here the manipulator plays the role of the stupid person to avoid embarrassing questions, such as saying about an obvious issue that he does not know what you are talking about, or to reveal personal matters that you have after lowering your awareness and abandoning it because you believe that he is really stupid. Law 11. Accusing others and blaming them. Here, manipulators constantly seek to keep their hands clean by never taking responsibility, by refusing to admit their mistakes or correct them. In case of any problem, they tend to blame others in order to absolve themselves of any responsibility. Law 12. Excessive praise and flattery. The manipulator here tells you what you want to hear, Whoever does not like to hear compliments, it is difficult not to feel satisfied after hearing the warmer, and you are likely to enjoy the company of someone who praises you more than others. But you must be careful, as the goal may be to flatter you in order to benefit from you later, as they may make a big request that puts you down in a difficult situation. It makes you feel guilty if you do not implement it, and you may eventually find yourself forced to respond to them. The 13th and final law is to take control of your decisions. Making some concessions or adjustments in decisions can be part of a cooperative and friendly relationship to build healthy and happy relationships. The goal is respect and attention, but manipulators blackmail you emotionally through anger, emotion, and drama, or by making you feel guilty until you modify or completely abandon your decision in the service of their selfishness and interests. Without any regard for you, your interests, your happiness, or your personal limits. Body language analysis strategy. Body language analysis can help us infer what is on someone's mind, including possible signals of manipulation that involves our entire body in the communication process. Every aspect of our physical and emotional state is affected by the situation. There are 7 techniques you can use to analyze individuals and read body language in order to understand the hidden emotions of others. We will mention it here, my friend, briefly, because the topic of body language is a broad and complex topic, on which many books have been written. If you want to learn more about the topic, I advise you to read some of these books, or at least one of them. Please note that these physical signs may be general indicators, and we should not rely on them definitively, because they can differ between individuals and are affected by cultural and personal factors, and it is best to also take into account the general context and other details to evaluate a person's feelings towards you, and not by taking one single sign separately and base the analysis on them entirely. First, study the general appearance. General appearance can be the first indication that you should pay attention to, as it is the most obvious indicator, and often reflects a person's personality. For example, does his appearance indicate an attempt to make a strong first impression? Is his clothing casual? Which indicates that he is calm and relaxed. Just observing how he looks, you can deduce a lot of information. But it's also important to take into account that the first impression left by a person may not necessarily reflect their true personality. They may have special reasons that affect their appearance at that moment, such as current circumstances or general mood, so it is preferable not to conclude final decisions about a person only by its external appearance. Rather, should give the opportunity for further interaction and communication to achieve a more comprehensive understanding. Secondly, observing body posture in general. If we like someone or feel comfortable in their presence, we will involuntarily lean towards them. For example, if you see that someone's feet are pointing towards you, this means that she feels comfortable in your presence. A person who keeps his hands in his pockets or behind his back may be trying to hide something. This may be an indication of discomfort or a desire to hide some information. There may be several reasons. This behavior, such as shyness or lack of confidence in the current situation. Third, observing facial expressions, which is extremely important, as facial expressions are one of the most effective ways to detect emotions in humans. When you look at someone's face, you can infer a lot of information about their feelings and emotional state. There is nothing that reveals feelings more than facial expressions among all other physical components. For example, when a person shrinks his lips, he clenches his jaw and expresses slight annoyance across his brow. These expressions send a strong message about his unwillingness or discomfort to respond in the affirmative, or hesitation about something, or perhaps there is anxiety or tension related to the topic at hand. Generally speaking, Facial expressions only tell us half the story, as we must also take context and other information into account to understand the situation more accurately. Fourth, focus on the eyes when a person is lying. It can be difficult for him to maintain direct eye contact, but a person who is accustomed or skilled at lying will intentionally try to maintain eye contact all the time when, for example, a smile does not reach the eyes and does not make them wrinkle. Just as a real smile can do, it means that a person displays a fake smile. This is considered an indication that the smile is not sincere. It can reflect a lack of honesty or true emotion expressed by the person. This type of smile may be an indication of limited emotional attention or a desire to hide true feelings. Fifthly, listen with concentration and attention to the tone of Al-Sad. The human voice contains many elements that can be used to determine emotion, such as pitch, frequency, speed, force, acceleration, tension, and vocal harmony. These elements can form a specific sound pattern that indicates a specific state, such as happiness, sadness, anger, fear, or surprise, etc. For example, in a state of anger, there may be an increase in strength, speed, and tension of the voice, and in a state of happiness, the voice may be more lively and impulsive. Likewise, a low, slow tone of voice can indicate sadness or depression, while a sharp, tense tone of voice can be an indicator of anxiety or fear. Finally, observing general movements, such as posture, leg movement, or gestures, body position can be an indicator of emotions and personality. For example, if a person stands upright, this may indicate confidence. If the person is standing in a hunched position, this may be evidence of sadness or shrinkage in his personality, but it is preferable not to rely solely on a person's stance to determine feelings and personality. But we must also take into account the general context and other available details to obtain a comprehensive and accurate understanding of the person, his feelings, and his personality. Excessive leg movement can also indicate nervousness, and a person randomly turning his arms and legs can indicate emotional instability or discomfort, as can the physical gestures that the person shows while speaking. It may reflect the level of trust. Before you use these methods to study individuals, the writer says that there is a very important point that you must take into consideration. You must avoid becoming an overly analyst, and avoid being overly focused on looking for signs. Stay calm and relaxed, be yourself, and just watch without being too critical or overly thinking about anything you notice. Dealing with manipulators strive to create doubt and weakness in you, and will do everything in their power to undermine your confidence in order to control you. When they creep into your life, they become difficult to get rid of, but this can be achieved if you follow some of the following basic guidelines. The first and most important thing you should do is maintain loyal friends and relationships that you know you can trust, because they will help you avoid the traps of manipulators and alert you if they feel that something is wrong and provide the necessary support. Secondly, you must communicate with your family and not isolate yourself from them in order to remain constantly informed of what is happening in your life. This will enable them to provide support and assistance when you face difficulties or suffer from problems. Sometimes one of the manipulator's goals is to isolate you, for your family and friends to be easy prey. Third, do not tolerate manipulators, especially if you know that they do so consciously and intentionally. Be firm and frank. Confront them and inform them of your position directly. They may clash because they do not expect you to have ability or strength, and they do not expect you to act decisively. Fourth, you can also ignore them and just watch how they express their dissatisfaction with their choices. They may be shocked because they did not expect you to ignore them and continue to make your decisions with confidence and reassurance. This may be the best response in some cases, as you need to maintain your psychological comfort and emotional balance. Fifth, never try to fix a manipulative person, because it is a game you will never win. They will make you doubt yourself and mess with your mind so that you find yourself desperately longing for acceptance and affirmation from them. Find people who make you feel comfortable, loved, and appreciated. Finally, if you find yourself constantly asking for permission, even for things that don't require it, I advise you to stop and take back control of your life yourself. Don't hand over the keys to your world to a manipulative person. Don't compromise your principles for someone who just wants to take advantage of you. Boost your self-confidence, define your personal boundaries, and learn how to make important decisions. Based on your personal values and principles, practice clear and frank communication with others about your needs and desires. Maintain your respect for yourself, your personal power, and your right to make decisions that serve your own interests. If you, my friend, think you are dealing with a manipulator, you could be facing a difficult challenge. This summary gives you an overview and just opens the door for you to delve deeper into the matter by reading more about it.